Okay, so today I just had this random thought. Um, this douchebag, one of the many douchebags that I uh, had a little thing where I hooked up in the past, came to my mind out of nowhere. Like one of those things is like, whatever happened to that dude, right? And just, my wheels just started spinning and I started thinking about, like, oh my God, to think that I used to like that dude, and now I'm like, ew, why did I even like him? And what would have been of my life if he would have liked me back in a more serious way, in the way that I wanted in that time? Because in that time, when I was young, I was just wanted to have a boyfriend, and I just wanted to be loved, and I just wanted to experience love, and having, the whole boyfriend thing, and being in love, and feeling like worthy, and feeling like, like, look at me, I can have a boyfriend too. Like, I, can be loved. I am worthy, pretty much. And I feel like that that aspect of my life was very crucial to me, to be able to determine, to be able to kind of, like, in my head, because it's all in my head, to feel like, oh, if this guy right here or that guy right here like me back and fall in love with me or ask me out and make me their girlfriend, that just means that I am gonna get married one day. I am gonna be loved and have a normal family, and I'm not gonna be, left alone to die. That's kind of what's kind of, I guess, the logic of it. And now that I look back, it makes me realize, oh my God, like, I am actually, because in that time, I met so many guys, every single guy, pretty much every single guy that I like, none of them liked me back. At least none of them liked me back in the way that I wanted to be liked back, and the way that I liked them. So if they would have asked me out, for example, I would have said yes, and I would have been like, yes, I am somebody's girlfriend. But now that I am older and I have so much more experience, and as you grow, you change a lot too, and you 100% change the way you see things, the way you think of things, and things you want in life. And now I'm like, oh my God, like, they were actually doing me a favor. Like, they were 100% literally, like, I am so grateful. I am so grateful that they didn't like me back. I am so grateful that they knew before I knew, because within their stupidity, they knew we were not a match. They knew we just were probably not going to be in the same page, or I don't know, they wanted different things, and their priorities and their concept of what was worth it was different than mine. And they just couldn't see the value in me. And that's okay, because they were idiots. And thanks to that, they freed me from being some idiot's girlfriend. Because imagine if they would have felt sorry for me or whatever, and for some act of kindness, they would have dated me. And then we would have fallen in love. I would have fallen in love with them. They were by far the best option to, for the kind of man that I was looking for. So sooner or later, one of us was going to have to either break each other's heart or stay together forever. And that would have not been in my best interest. That would have been like the worst decision I could have made, because in my stupid, innocent, teenager mind, I thought, oh, all I want was a boyfriend. What's the worst that could happen? A lot of things could have happened. I could have gotten pregnant by some guy, and I would have been stuck with a child for, from some random, by some random immature fling that I had in that time back in the day. So pretty much, they did me a favor. And I just want to share with everyone, I would like to talk about all the horrible experience, because, oh my God, I went through so many heart-crushing moments where I felt no one is ever going to love me. I'm just not good enough. I'm just not good enough for anyone. And trust me when I tell you, my bar was very low. Like, I went from this high to all the way down to, like, gangster, drug addict, ex-convict, no problem. Welcome. Bring it on. So my bar was set really, really low, and I was still not good enough for them. And I was never able to figure out what was it about me. What was it about me that guys didn't like? What was it about me that I just didn't have that typical girlfriend-like personality, typical girlfriend-like material? What was so wrong about me? And it took me many, many years to understand that there wasn't anything wrong with me per se. I mean, there was a lot of things that I did do that I don't do anymore, that I, learned from trial and error. There's always room for improvement, but it wasn't that there was something wrong with me as a person, with my personality, with my physical, with my essence, with just me as a whole in general. This wasn't that it wasn't something wrong with me. It just wasn't that it was just not, we were just not right for each other. I just happened to have the bad luck of running into a bunch of idiots on my way. Or even if one of, from all the guys that I could have probably crushed on, maybe I could have, some of them could have been good boyfriends. But now that I think about none of the guys that I actually crushed, I'm like, thank God I didn't end up with them. Thank God. Thank God I didn't fall in love and stick with one person for the rest of my life like my mom. Because I feel like I would have missed out on a lot of experiences. And I'm not talking sexually. I'm talking about getting to know how different people are, and what it helped me realize that the person that I am with right now is literally the best thing that could have happened to me. And I know for a fact I could have not done better. So right now, if you're going through that stage that I went through, which, trust me, it was a long period. It's a long period where I was literally dead. Like, there was nothing that could have convinced me. Jesus Christ could have come down from heaven and told me, Francesca, you are going to be fine. You are going to find the love of your life. And you're going to be very, very happy with this person. In a few years from now, I would have not believed it. Because I would have been like, no, Jesus Christ. If none of these fucking douchebags, idiots, losers like me, no one is going to like me. Because it's just too much coincidence that it's been too many. It's too many. Like, come on. How many more do I have to go through before I find the love of my life? And, like, honestly, it's as many as it needs to. Sometimes life just happens to be like that for some of us. And trust me when I tell you, it's just not the right time yet for you. It's just not the right time. At that time, if I would have probably had a boyfriend at that time, knowing how I used to think and how confused I was about a lot of things, just even me not knowing that about how my brain worked and why is it I did certain things and that I was autistic and all that stuff. Like, definitely, there was a lot that I needed to figure out. So I was definitely not ready to be on a serious relationship in that time. And I am glad that it didn't happen. It happened when it had to happen. I had to go through all these experiences before I could, find myself really and value myself. And yes, having a boyfriend in that time was, important for me. Important for me to feel like I was, worthy of love. And but as much as I wanted to be accepted, as much as I wanted to be wanted, as much as I wanted to be attractive, desired, worthy, loved, significant, valued, and noticed, and pretty much just feel like I wanted to feel rejected for once. I wanted that feeling to stop repeating itself. I was desperate for that to just not be like my reality. But now I understand why those things have to happen. And sometimes as women, you know, we go, especially as when we're young, we go through that stage where we're just in love with love. We just wanna feel love, and we don't even know what the hell that really means. But we just think that, you know, we wanna know what it is to be in love. We tell our couples, and we're like, oh, I wanna do that. I wanna hold hands. I wanna go to the movies with my boyfriend. Like, I wanna stop being the third wheel. I was always the third wheel. I want to go on a date. I want to go to a restaurant. I want to experience all those things. But just because you're not experiencing them right now, it doesn't mean that you're not going to experience them later or when the time is right for you. And it also doesn't mean that it's not going to feel as just as good. Right now, you have the opportunity to experience other things, maybe to find yourself. You know, not everyone has to have a boyfriend at 14, 15, 16 years old for them to have like a,
oh, you know, my 15, 16s were not at all, you know, great because I didn't have a boyfriend those entire, you know, in that time. So it wasn't special. It wasn't as it should have been like every normal, typical.
no, that's not how you mentality mindset should be. You should think, you know what? I'm going to do other things that I will probably not be able to do if I had a boyfriend. Enjoy your friends. Enjoy yourself. Do other things. Enjoy the hell that you're single, because trust me, one day you're not going to be single. You're going to be tied up to someone, and there's going to be a lot of things you're not exactly going to be able to do once that happens. So for the rest of your life, you're going to be tied up to someone, and that's going to be beautiful, and you're going to enjoy it. But also, do everything that you can before that happens. If you have extra time to do that, appreciate that time. And appreciate the fact, just how I appreciate it now, the fact that those people that you might be crushing on, that they're not seeing the value in you, be grateful. Thank them, because the fact that they are rejecting you, that means that, and they're not seeing the value off the bat, they're not seeing through you, that means that they're not for you. They're not for you, and they're not smart enough to see that, to see the value. They're doing you a favor by not giving you hopes and by not making you waste your time. So trust me when I tell you that I am so, like, I look back at all the, dude, like, I don't want to sound like, you know, like a bitch and belittle every single guy that I crushed on, but from a standpoint where these guys were total jerks and assholes and all the shit they did to me, I feel like they do deserve to be called all that. So I look back and I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't end up with those. Like, what was I thinking? Like, obviously I didn't know better. I honestly didn't know better. And now I'm thinking, you know, I wish I could go back in time and tell myself and be like, Francesca, trust me, you are not missing out on anything. This guy is gonna get ugly as fuck. It's gonna end up being a complete, like total just loser. He's gonna end up in a place where you don't wanna be. You don't wanna be in that place where how this guy is gonna end up, and his goals and visions and his goals and visions and priorities in life are gonna be extremely, extremely opposite from yours. So you, trust me, Francesca, look back at that little girl that you once were, at the dreams you once had, and how you vision your life to be. Who you wanna be, what do you wanna be? And trust me when I tell you, this guy, it ain't worth your time. Enjoy the hookup. Enjoy whatever it is that this guy wants to give you. Just live and enjoy the moment, but don't marry that moment. Don't get stuck on that moment that makes you think like, if this is not happening right now, it's it. My life is over. My life is not worthy. My life, it's always gonna be, you know, don't focus on the negatives. Focus on the positives. Focus on the fact that it's like, you know what, we're having a good time, we're chilling. It's cool if he doesn't want anymore. It's cool. There's gonna be somebody else who's gonna want this, who's gonna appreciate this, who's gonna love, adore, kiss the floor where you're walking by, and it's gonna just make you realize, I'm like, oh, thank God I didn't, you know, I just didn't end up with, all those other guys. It's like, oh God, yeah. Yeah, when I look back at all the guys that I had, especially thinking about the ones that I really, really crushed on, that I was really head over heels, I swear that I was in love with. And I'm thinking like, man, like I was so stupid. Like I was not in love with them because I hardly knew them. I was deeply crazy infatuated, and I was obsessed with the idea that this kid was perfect for me, that could be the idea of that boyfriend that I wanted at that time. But sometimes things are not going to happen when you exactly want them. They're going to happen when it's the right time. So you need to accept the fact that it's okay if it's not happening, that things are not always going to be like they're painting in movies, and you see other people having that boyfriend, girlfriend that are also cute, but it doesn't always end up in a very nice place. It looks cute in picture and it looks cute in movies, but it's not always like that. Most of these young relationships, sometimes they don't end up in a nice place. So think that, vision yourself. What do you want? What do you really see yourself? What makes you happy? Because your happiness shouldn't depend on other person loving you. You need to love yourself. You need to love yourself and do what makes you happy. Like you by yourself. Like if you were by yourself, what would really make you happy? So do that and enjoy the people that already love you, your friends, your family, all that. Appreciate those. One thing that another mistake a lot of people do is that they get a boyfriend and they forget that they have friends, and that's wrong. You might be dating someone and you don't know if that's gonna last, but the moment things don't work out, you're most likely never gonna see that person again. But friends are for life, so really appreciate and value your friends. Treat your friends like they are either equally important as your significant other. Eventually, once you're in a very serious relationship, obviously your significant other is going to be more important. But if there's, there shouldn't be a conflict between, or as long as there's no conflict between significant other and friends, the amount of time that you should always save some time to dedicate and not forget that your friends are there, were once there, and hopefully will always be there. So that's my message. That was my thought of the day. Random thought, nothing to do with me planning it. It was literally came out of nowhere. But I thought, hey, this might make a good TikTok. Can I make this video in 1 minute? No. So I don't know how I'm gonna push this into a 1 minute TikTok video, but for sure, I feel like this is something that I just continue to see so many people struggling with, love issues and trusting horrible people and trusting, online dating and and believing a lot of promised lies for the sake of finding love. And you shouldn't do anything that requires any kind of risk for the sake of being loved. You should love yourself no matter what. And if somebody else sees that and wants to love you, wants to give you unconditional love, then fine. You still be careful and slowly let them in. But don't be desperate to be loved. Don't be desperate for love. Because, if somebody else wants to give you their love, you shouldn't just accept it right away like an expensive gift. Well, what would you think somebody just comes and gives you like, here's the $1 million necklace? Like, it's kind of weird to be accepting things like that, So same goes with love. You don't just be like, yo, I just met you, you're already loving me, and it's been like not even a month or 2 weeks. Like, you gotta make sure that you really get to know that person before you really give your all. You can be very infatuated with someone. There could be an amazing connection, but that's not love. It took me literally a whole year, not a little longer, to really start thinking like, I feel like I'm falling. I think I'm falling in love with my boyfriend, with my now fiance. And it took him even a little longer to warm up to that idea, because I was the one that said it first, but I feel like he's just such a sweet person, such an amazing person. I can totally fall in love with him because I got to know him as a person, not as a boyfriend, but as genuine, how honest and caring and sweet he was. And I felt like I can fall in love with that person. And I'm getting really attached to him. I'm caring for him. I'm thinking about him all the time. I just can't stop thinking about him. And he makes me happy. And I'm falling in love. But you do want to wait a significant amount of time before that happens. So before that, love yourself. Love yourself no matter what. And that person needs to love you more than you love yourself. So if that person, sometimes people can see beyond what we see, because sometimes we can be a little critical of ourselves, and that's fine. But whoever loves you needs to love you more than you love yourself, not less, not almost there, not conditionally. He needs to love you all unconditionally, and needs to make you like, you won't know. It needs to feel like, oh my God, this is unreal how much this person loves me and all the things that this person does for me unconditionally. Not because you did this, not if you do that, not after you join all this. Like, no. You will be able to see the signs. So don't be desperate for love. It's going to happen when it's the right time. And if anything, work on yourself. Work on being a better person. Work on being that person that you will like, that you will, that you would like your, I don't know, your brother to be with, or that you would, be like, oh, this is such an amazing person. I would totally love this person to be with this person that I want to be. So there's certain things that you want to change about yourself. Like me, I changed the fact that I would get, try to calm down my anger issues, try to calm down my emotional issues, and just be a little more chill, because it is important to try to aim to be that kind of person that people can feel comfortable around. We all like that. We all like to be, I don't want to be that person that people feel like they have to be walking on eggshells, or people just feel so on edge around because I snap and become somebody else from one to the next. I don't want to be that person. So I worked on being a more relaxed, a happier person with myself. And that's important. But that doesn't mean that you're not, just because you're not quite there yet, doesn't mean you're not worthy of love. So it's important to love yourself no matter what. So I gotta go now because it's been way too long. So yeah, peace.